Hey, welcome to News Rocky. This is Kevin, your host here at the News Rocky, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., coming to you live right here from the Pie Hop Studio in downtown Norwich. That's right, Norwich, Connecticut, where we proudly call home. I hope you guys are good out there. We're going to cover a lot of topics today in this episode on News Rocky. We're going to talk about Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump. I think the love affair they have is pretty amazing. I also think that we're going to be talking a little bit about this COVID relief package. Kind of leads right into the whole COVID relief package, leads right into this love affair with Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi. We'll also be talking about some of the facts and do some fact checking on, as we wind down and this election goes, obviously Joe Biden's going to be sworn in soon. We're going to talk a little bit about all the things that Donald Trump has done, accusations against him and more right here on the News Rocky Show. So guys, stay with us today. News Rocky coming to you each and every day, Monday through Friday, right from Pie Hop's studio. Go right on to the video. All right, guys, listen, we're going to start right off with a big video. I feel like we need a dinging noise, ding, 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 because I'm going to get you guys in the ring right now with Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump. This is mano a mano. They're going to go at it right here in this video. Let's check this thing out, and then we'll get right into the rest of the show. I want to start off some things. Go ahead.
Completely inappropriate in so many ways.
She's not the same person. She's lost it.
But again, a dose of his own medicine.
Stone cold crazy.
He comes in with doggy do on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too.
Crazy Nancy Pelosi's House Democrats have branded themselves with an eternal mark of shame, and it really is. It's a disgrace.
He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved by the scientists, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say.
Oh, I don't respond to her. I think she's a waste of time. Pelosi is a sick woman. She's got a lot of problems, a lot of mental problems.
What the president did was totally outrageous. Totally outrageous. If it was unwitting, that would be pathetic and dangerous. If it was intentional, that would even be, I don't know what's worse.
Crazy Nancy. I tell you what, I've been watching her, and I have been watching her for a long period of time. She's not the same person. She's lost it.
I frankly feel very sad about the president making this claim. I felt sorry for him.
She's a mess. Look, let's face it. She doesn't understand it. And they sort of feel she's disintegrating before the rush. She does not understand it.
Appalling.
Nancy Pelosi is a horrible person.
What the president misunderstands is that cruelty is not wit.
I think Speaker Pelosi's incompetent. She lost the Congress once. I think she's going to lose it again because it's so bad for the country. And Nancy Pelosi, I mean, she should go back to her district and clean it up.
Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker?
I don't hate anybody. I don't have was raised in a Catholic house. We don't hate anybody.
I don't hate anyone and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
Nor do I like people who say, I pray for you.
Let us pray.
All right. Right on that happy note, we're going to say, let us pray. Welcome back to News Rocky. I just wanted to open up a little humor today, a little bit of humor, because in this crazy world we live in, here we are. We just celebrated, baby Jesus and the birth of all the baby Jesuses out there at Christmas time. Everyone's getting together. We're all stressed out. We had a bombing down there in Tennessee. We'll talk about that. But you know what? We have this whole tension between what seems like Democrats and Republicans going. You hear some great background noise. We're just having a little fun today, trying to cue up some fun music here for you. But we have this whole battle right now going on between Democrats and Republicans in this country. It seems like no matter what you do, at the end of the day, you get into an argument over the policies, and the policymakers seem to be leading the way to really keep this divide active. And unfortunately, in this country, one of the biggest divides we have is the economic divide. And I agree that there's a major issue here. And thank God we have a president like President Donald Trump who realized this most recent COVID relief bill. And, we could go back into history, guys. This COVID relief bill, a lot of folks out there, especially on the corporate media, the CNN, CNBC, NBC, all of them want to tear up this president and say, how could he be so evil to wait till after Christmas? And why was he doing what he did? And this is the largest $900 billion of money being spent. This is the largest amount of money. And they blame him for not passing or signing rather this into law earlier on last week. They also blame him for passing it. They're also blaming him for everything. And by the way, this is what the world has been since Donald Trump's got in office, right? That's why I played that clip in the beginning. Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi from the day one. Donald Trump was a target for Nancy Pelosi. Now, maybe he deserves it, right? Maybe the way he talks, maybe the way he interacts with people, maybe the way he speaks, he draws that attention. I get it and I understand it. But half the stuff that's made of accusations about this president just aren't true. Again, I'm referring right now. Let's just start off with this and get it out of the way. We're talking about this new relief bill that actually the president signed on Sunday, just yesterday. This is the 28th Monday here of December. So on the 27th, down in Florida, at his private golf course, the president, who works every day, and I don't think anyone could argue this president's working 24/7. I think some want to criticize in the corporate media world, but the reality is that he's out there working each and every day. Now, there's many caveats to the signature of this law. And before it goes back in front of Congress at some point today, they'll be voting on it. They're having great debate on it. And I think, honestly, Donald Trump may have outsmarted these liberal Democrats in the House and Senate because they really don't know how to react. Because what Donald Trump said is not enough. $600 for the people of this country who've been out of work because of the China flu, the China virus. They came here not by any fault of any other government other than China allowing it out of their country into the world, has directly affected this economy. And the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump came out and said, look, if I can do anything, I want to give the people of this country a little more than this. $600 is not going to do it. So he said he wasn't going to sign it. But he also said all the foreign aid. Guys, if you dive into this bill, this law, this budgetary woe that will be out here. And we put up last week, you guys remember, we put up the ticker for the debt service for the country. It grows every day. You guys can pull that up anytime you want. It's on the News Rocky Facebook page. We want you to know that there's a cost for everything we do. And unfortunately, at this time when we want to help the world, we're Americans. We're always the leaders. We want to get out there and help them. It's not the time. We need to help ourselves. We're not standing up right now. We're down on a knee, guys. And if we don't get up, if we don't stand up, we're gonna lose our position in this country. We already have China warning us by 2035 they're gonna come and kick our butt and the rest of the world's butt and take control of the economy and the rest of the free world. That was a statement that was given out a few months back from China. This ties right into what's going on with this bill. This president said enough is enough. I'm gonna sign this with this caveat, and he laid them out. The bottom line is he's going to carve out all the nonsense. See, CNN and all the other fake news media, they want to tell you how this president is going after this. He didn't do that. They'll present and paint a picture and take a little bit of the reality. But this president actually said with the caveat, utilizing his position of authority as the president of the United States, go back, Congress. I want $2,000. I want these things carved out. We're not giving all the money overseas. We're not giving Pakistan $40 million or whatever it was to do some sort of research on transgendered people. Could you even imagine that someone could even, who wrote that? I didn't even read the law. Who wrote that law? Who wants that to be part of what America needs? You understand this is the craziness that's going on in Washington, D.C. right now? This is the craziness we have. Instead of the CNBC, CBS, all the corporate media, and Fox News, cover them all. I'll paint them all in there. Instead of actually them coming out and saying the truth about the reality of this bill is a bad bill in general. But what this president is saying, look, he realizes this corrupt system of Washington insiders have control. And unfortunately, this is Republicans and Democrats, guys. This is not just us looking at the Democratic side of the House or the Senate. This is us looking at both the Democrats and Republicans, and what they're pulling in Washington, D.C. right now is shameful. They played with the American people, and then they tried to play the blame game. Talk about the greatest art of fake news, pointing at the president, saying it's his fault that we didn't pass this bill. It's his fault that he didn't sign this into law. Wait a minute, guys. Negotiations. You ever heard of the word? That's the word they're supposed to be using, negotiate. They don't want to negotiate. Yeah, the president's a hard negotiator. But remember back in November when Nancy Pelosi came right out, guys. Where's the media now? Where's the national corporate media talking about that? When Nancy Pelosi, back in November, she pulled this negotiation from the table flat out. Actually, excuse me, back in October, they pulled it. Why? Because there was an election, and they wanted their boy, Joe Biden, to get elected. And guess what? Not only did it start back then, we had a video we were going to play, and I don't think we can pull it up today. We'll have to get it another time. It's about Nancy Pelosi in an interview. And maybe if you can, I don't know if you can look it up. It's a New Yorker magazine interview that took place, I think, back in 2018. And while we're trying to cue this up, I got Slay on the keyboard today. Big shout out over there, doing a great job. This is why this production looks so good, because we got real professionals finally. But this Nancy Pelosi video that I'm referring to, and if we can pull it up, we'll play it, is really interesting because it's back in 2018, I believe, and it was back when, prior to the actual campaign, the presidential campaign for certain, the primary hadn't taken place. We didn't know who was going to be in office, but interesting enough, if we can play this video, you're going to find exactly what I'm saying. So we're queuing that thing up here. I want you to listen in, and we'll talk about it.
Usually from the left to do this, but it was interesting watching you because you were. It reminded me a little bit of LBJ, who said, "Make me do it." You're waiting till the moment when you felt you absolutely had to do this. And so, what was it that changed? Was there some particular piece of information?
What's dates on that?
Or
You can keep playing it.
It
Yep.
does give me leverage.
There she
It
is.
does
Listen
give
up.
me leverage. So as far as my members were concerned, whatever was right for them at their moment, because there was plenty that the president had done, evidenced in the Mueller report and just other things that were impeachable offenses. I kept, for me, timing is everything. I said, when we get more facts, when the truth has more clarity, we will be ready. We will be ready. And September 17th, 2019 was the very day, boom, the explosion of the telephone call with the president and the president of Ukraine. That was a moment of revelation in terms of, okay, it's understandable. This had a story. This had clarity. And so, the president called me in the morning. Don't tell anybody I'm telling you this, okay? And he wanted to talk about all the things he was doing to pass what he knows is not only a passion with me, but a just passion with me, that we're going to get it done, passing background checks legislation to end gun violence in our country. So he calls, and as I keep saying them, we're not going away until we get this protection. Then he decided to change the subject, which was probably the purpose of the call. About the call, it's perfect. I said, no, Mr. President, it's not perfect. It's wrong. It's wrong. And he said, where do you see? I don't know if he said the transcript was. The transcript is sitting away someplace. But where do you see the record of the call? It's perfect. Just asking the head of state of a country to not dig up dirt, create dirt on a political opponent.
Good enough right there.
That's not right. But
Okay. Did you listen to that quick little? Really looks like she's stumbling, by the way, and maybe she's older, and I don't want to pick on the frail elderly folks out there, but Nancy Pelosi, she warrants a little bit of criticism, and I'm going to ask you, if you're listening, you watch that video, you watch it queue up, and it was a little longer than I probably should have let it be. I apologize, but that video, Nancy Pelosi makes a statement, a political opponent. She's talking about Joe Biden back in 2019. Joe Biden, who was not named as the candidate or the president-elect, but in her mind, her complete confidence, she was referring to him as his opponent. And this is meaning Donald Trump, about the call to the Ukraine, looking into the corruption and the claims of corruption against Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, the son of Joe Biden, connected to this Ukraine issue, as well as China, all kinds of stuff that's out there. But guys, she plays it off like it doesn't even matter, right? She talks about it like it's really not even relevant. When Nancy Pelosi, Nancy out there eating $20 ice cream while the rest of the country's going broke, she's so happy to show you her ice cream collection at her mansion in her gated community, by the way, with armed guards who surround her house. And she wants to talk about gun control. If you're not buying bullshit, if you're not calling bullshit on this kind of crap that's going on, and we're falling for it. Nancy Pelosi, she is one of the major problems in this country. And I got to tell you, if I can say thank you to President Trump for anything, the way he held her feet to the fire was amazing. And it's just exposed the Washington corrupt. And by the way, this goes for you Republican, Democrats, I don't care who you are. The corruption in Washington, D.C. is so thick and smelly and stinky. And that's why each and every one of you, what you did down there? You band together. Mitt Romney, you're a traitor. You turned on the Republican president. You know why? Because you're a loser, Mitt Romney. You couldn't win. That's why you had to turn your back on him. Because you know what? He insulted the Bush boys. You know what the Bush boys should do? Go back to blowing lines and drinking, okay? Because that's all you're good for. A couple of spoiled white privileged individuals. All you did your whole life was get everything your daddy did for you. You know what happened to you? Every time the Democrats, George W., kicked you in the ass for all your experiences, allowing obviously Vice President Cheney to run the country into war after war under your call. Now, I do give you credit for the 9/11 response. I think you were a patriot then. But the bottom line is, these are the people who turned on Donald Trump, the Washington insiders. Guys, think about it. The McCain family. Talk about it. I saw an interview not long ago about Mrs. McCain. And you know what? John McCain, I'm not going to sit here and kick a man who's dead. He was a patriot. He served. There's question about how that happened with his injuries. I'm not getting into that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm talking about the truth. But one of the things I find really ironic is in an interview, Mrs. McCain comments about the Epstein awakening. And she said it's been well known in Washington, D.C. for years. Here's your Republican wife of Senator McCain admitting of all this corruption, including this Epstein issue that was going on and being exposed. And she says, we know for years. So we knew when Bill Clinton got on the plane to go to Epstein Island. We knew when everyone else was hanging out with this clown. But Nancy Pelosi gets up. She wants to make comments in 2019 about his opponent, talking about Joe Biden, not even nominated as of yet. But she was very clear that she knew he was going to be. Guys, if you don't wake up now and smell the coffee, and I want to talk to you, Democratic friends of mine. I love you. But you got to listen up. You're being played, man. You're being played a fool right now because they don't care about you. They don't care about us. They care about control. Every one of them do. Washington, D.C. needs an awakening. And you know what? President Donald Trump, like it or not, he gave an awakening to Washington, D.C. And you know what he paid? He paid the price of everyone becoming a traitor. Almost everyone in the congressional Senate seats, those who supported him, they all ran. They hightailed it out of there as soon as they knew this guy wasn't coming back. Most and all of them, I say, ran. There's still a few out there that are steady. Marco Rubio seems to be there. Ben Carson's not turning his back on him. And quite honestly, many of the Americans haven't turned their back on the president. The president of the United States, the 45th, still has support. And you know what? I think one of the things we hear about is in the news about all the corruption, all the bad things that Donald Trump's done. If you just pull a picture up of him if you like, but I'm going to get into a few of the good things, right? So the news, Rocky, I'm not here to champion Donald Trump because I'm some kind of major fan. I don't want his autograph. What I wanted was a service to our country. And you know what? I recognize what he's done. I recognize no better picture right there. Just take it and shut up. So here's some things did you know. This is the did you know about Donald Trump. We'll tie it back into Nancy Pelosi, who creates the fake news in Washington, D.C. Did you know that Trump signed the Federal Animal Cruelty Act into law on November 25th, 2019? That is right. He has stiffened the laws and the regulations on anything associated with animal cruelty. This is one of his priorities. He loves animals, but he's often talked about as not an animal lover. And in fact, if you guys just paid attention, I think Joe Biden's dog's coming to the White House, the adopted dog, and it was such a such a photo op moment. This is the kind of stuff you hear constantly. Did you know Trump created a White House hotline for veterans? On May 14, 2019, Trump created the hotline serving veterans, their families, anything they need, survivors, and they are staffed with veterans and direct family members. You know what? This is the beautiful thing about Donald Trump. Instead of waiting to go through all this process, I remember him commenting about this. I did it. I created this access now to the White House because we want to know what's going on across this country at our veterans' houses, our veterans' facilities. You know what I find interesting, guys? Right here in the state of Connecticut, we have a healthcare facility. Donald Trump's talking about veterans and really helping veterans out. We have our own Dick Blumenthal out here in the front line in Connecticut trying to take on the Veterans Administration here. You know why? Because they've been so corrupt for so many years. Finally, President Trump has done something. This hotline has helped immensely. And I think I'm hearing from most veterans out there, they're happy. Did you know Trump signed a bill requiring airports to provide space for breastfeeding for mothers? That's right. President Trump was worried about the women who need to breastfeed in the airports. And so now it's a law and everyone gets to do their thing. Did you know Trump signed and approved the First Step Act? You know what the First Step Act is? It's on, on December 21st, 2018, Trump approved the criminal justice bill, which is enacted and reforms and makes the justice system fairer and help former inmates successfully return to society. Did you know Trump appointed 5 openly gay U.S. ambassadors? Did you know he had 5 ambassadors that he had appointed who were openly gay and representing the United States of America? Did you know Trump signed and approved the Save Our Sea Act on October 13th, 2018? Trump signed into law a bill which provides $10 million per year to clean our oceans from the tons of plastic and garbage. Did you know Trump increased funding for historical Black colleges? Listen, this funding issue for Black colleges is a big deal, and no one even gave it 1 ounce of credit on the corporate media side. On December 19th, 2019, Trump provided more than $250 million a year to the nation's historical Black colleges and universities, along with dozens of other institutions that serve large shares of minority students. Here's what's really big about this. Prior to him signing this into law, which is now a 10-year law, that each and every year prior, these facilities, these causes would come, and in particularly for supporting of Black students, each year get a new budget assigned by the president. And President Trump said, "This is stupid. You got 10 years, you're getting more money, move on." Did you know Trump appointed the first openly gay cabinet member? The first time in the history of this country to have an openly gay member of his cabinet was Donald Trump, not Barack Obama, not Bill Clinton, not any of them, not George W. Him, the ones you say is anti-gay, homophobic, and all the other stuff. Did you know Trump prioritized HBCU in the White House? On September 18th, 2017, Trump created the position of Executive Director of the White House Initiative on HBCUs, something always wanted to do for the president, and they did it. And so guess what? Did you know Trump received the Bipartisan Justice Award? The award was given to Trump on October 25th, 2019, a historical Black college for his role in advocating for criminal justice reform. These are notable things, but did you know? You know why you didn't know? Because the corporate media didn't want you to know. They don't want you to know about the good stuff. They want to keep promoting the bad stuff. You know why? Because when he kicked the door in, the non-politician that he is, and he said, "You're fake, you're liars, you stink, the swamp needs to get drained," everyone said, "Screw it, we don't have any issues again. We're all done." It's almost I worked in prison, guys. I remember how it was. You know how the gangs, you have gangs everywhere. You have a little bit of gang here. You got the Solitos, you got the Latin King, you got 20 Love, you got Jump Boys, whatever you got, right? And white power, whatever you want to call it. Well, they all come in and they say, "You know what? We got to get this one dude out of here. We can't take it no more." So they collectively got together. Washington, D.C. was scared of Donald Trump. Who else was scared of Donald Trump? Obviously, China was scared of Donald Trump. Did you know Trump beefed up Homeland Security to fight trafficking? In 2018, Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security investigation arrested 1,588 criminals associated with human trafficking and identified 325 victims. Homeland Security also hired more victim assistance specialists, helping ensure that victims have the proper resources and support. Yeah, you didn't know that one, did you? Did you know Trump signed a bill legalizing hemp and CBD? Let's see, on December 20th, 2018, Trump signed the Farm Bill legalizing production of hemp and CBD federal levels. And guess what? I have a business because of that, so I'm very appreciative for that one. Did you know Trump signed a bill allowing the cheaper drugs from Canada to make USA prices more affordable? So you talk about his pushback and what he's done, the smart things he's done, like this, for example. And this is, I've talked to people who have 100%, they don't like Donald Trump, but this is one of the things they appreciate about him. This taking on the big pharma has been it's been a curse, okay? Because when you take on big pharma, you take on big money, and he's certainly been paying the price. Did you know Trump is the first president to expand our military into space? On December 20th, 2019, Trump finalized the creation of Space Force as the USA's sixth military branch. Sounds crazy to me, by the way. I don't know, Space Force. I feel like I'm in a Hollywood production here. I don't know about that, but did you know Trump signed 3 bills affecting Native Americans, gave compensation to the Spokane tribe for less than for their lands in 1900s, reauthorized the funding for native language programs, gave federal recognition to the Little Shell tribe of Chippewa Indians in Montana. He has, did you know, signed the bills lifting pharmacists' gag clauses on drug prices. So on October 10th, 2018, Trump signed 2 bills giving patients rights to know which drugs are more affordable and freeing pharmacists to speak openly about which competitive drugs are less expensive. Prior to that, they were restricted. Did you know Trump signed the FOSTA bill targeting online sex trafficking? On April 11, 2018, Trump signed a bill that gives federal and state prosecutors greater power to pursue websites that host sex trafficking ads, enabling victims and state attorney generals to file lawsuits against them. Did you know Trump signed the biggest wilderness protection conservation bill in decades? On March 12, 2019, Trump designated 1.3 million acres of federal land in California, Oregon, Utah, and New Mexico as wilderness, the highest level of protection in which logging, oil drilling, mining, and road building are banned. Did you know Trump signed the Right to Try bill? On May 30th, 2018, Trump passed a law allowing all terminally ill patients the right to try experimental treatments not yet approved by the onerous FDA, so they have a fighting chance to live. Did you know Trump signed an executive order forcing all healthcare providers to disclose their prices so Americans can do comparison shopping? Yes, he did that. Did you know Trump issued an executive order providing transitioning veterans access to mental health treatment? He expanded the mental health treatment. And as we see what's going on in this country right now, guys, what just took place down in Nashville, Tennessee, with this guy in this RV, and as the news is coming out about it, obviously and clearly, mental health is one of the biggest issues we have in our country. One of the biggest issues we have in our country. And unfortunately, the way of dealing with mental health has seemed to be, the trend has been to ignore it, to allow it to sort of fester. Our people in this country, from COVID, from all the experiences we've had, from the George Floyd incidents, dividing our country, the political ugliness has created so much more mental health. I don't even know what to say. This whole thing in Tennessee's got us all worried. Did you know Trump started a program providing HIV prevention drugs for, the uninsured? So there it is, Mr. Mean Donald Trump. Yep, he's given the uninsured some chances to take medicine that could help them live, but he's an animal and certainly should be put down. Trump signed an order giving small businesses access to affordable health insurance for employees. Yep, he hates small employees. He hates the people of America. Didn't do that. Did you know Trump signed the Preventing Maternal Death Act? On December 21st, 2018, Trump approved the law written by Republican lawmakers and provides funding for states to develop maternity review committees to better understand the maternal complications and identify solutions to that terrible issue. Trump, did you know, launched an anti-trafficking coordination team. Federal law enforcement more than doubled convictions of human trafficking. This is another noted. And let's see, the increase was up by 75% due to this move that he did. Trump launched What else? See, a task force combat human trafficking. That's another one. Trump brought peace to the Middle East. See, here's an interesting one. So let's talk about this. Middle East has been a major issue for years. Unfortunately for those who watch only corporate media TV, those who pay attention to only corporate media owned, newspapers, magazines, you're going to hear one article about Donald Trump. It's going to be anti-Trump, no matter what he does. There's never a compliment to him. What he has been able to do in the Middle East has been nothing less than remarkable. He has helped us. Our gas prices are down. OPEC has kept the gas prices down. His handling of the stock market and the economy up to COVID has been second to none. He was the fast track president going to break records. Makes you wonder why we're going through what we're going through right now, because you couldn't give this guy any more advantage going into this election in 2020. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theory here, but definitely Donald Trump was doing some amazing things going into this year. And it certainly looks like the carpet got pulled out from underneath him after all these successful things. I'm naming off a few here. Did you know, Trump called out Congress for making education unaffordable. In January 2020, Trump, announced his push for school choice, ensuring no child would be trapped in a failing school system because of his or her zip code. See, the move would help students and families pay for their tuition at private schools and other alternatives. You know, all we hear about is the bad things, but you don't hear about the good things. And I just want to ask you guys, if you're out there and you're Republican, I appreciate you. You're feeling that you agree with me, but I don't want you to agree with me because I'm right. I don't want you to agree with me because I'm on one side. I want people to understand it's insane how much we get, right? We get more information from these people each and every day on these corporate media sites, and all they want to do is tell us how evil this guy is. Trump is actively working to dismantle the terrorist group ISIS. I mean, many occasions we saw him actually go over and do some things with regards to representing this country in those really, really tough places. He brought back Christmas. That's right. And so the sequel, and we got Trump lies, Biden won, trust lost. That's great. So did you know Trump signed the 9/11 victims compensation bill into law? So this is a big deal, and I'm going to tell you why. You know, I go back and I'm kind of opened up with my concerns about Bush, the two Bush boys, and then obviously you got Clinton still around, Bush boys, you got Obama, you got all the insiders, all the King's men. So it's like, you have all this energy going on in Washington, D.C., and you get this opportunity to see Donald Trump comes in and he actually takes on an issue that we've stood up for every September 11th, and all the politicians do their somber speeches about how they feel about September 11th. This guy actually stepped up and put money and energy into solving these problems that these first responders actually ran into. You wonder why the first responders love Donald Trump. You know why they love Donald Trump? Because he's a man of principle. He's a man of honor. And he's definitely backed up his words each and every time. He's loved the men and women of blue. He didn't back up. He didn't back on them. He didn't back up on them. He didn't turn on them. He was endorsed by the largest unions in this country, men and women working each and every day in blue. We had a shooting right here in the Hartford, Connecticut. And this past weekend, actually, a female officer involved in a shooting right in Hartford, Connecticut. And, when you look at this shooting and the way that this country's been going, guys, again, I'm saying Donald Trump's got your back. If you're men and women in blue, we understand. Donald Trump's got your back. Obviously, we're going to be, we should be in a position where we appreciate and love our law enforcement. Unfortunately, that divide has been created. It's been sort of exasperated, I think, from the corporate media, from the social concept issues, and from a really, really big, I would say, campaign in this country to get Donald Trump out of office. But up in Hartford, Connecticut, we had a shooting where it looks like the police officer who was involved, the female, was able to get her service weapon out. The individual pointed a weapon towards the officers when they were trying to take this individual into custody. And all reports seem like this is a very clean shoot. But we have a thing in the state of Connecticut called the Police Accountability Act. And for the folks out there listening to the show and checking things out, and please chime in if you like, this Police Accountability Act, now this individual, this officer right now, potentially could lose her home, her possessions. She could be sued privately The department is indemnified from that. Under this law, the review process is onerous. Now, I don't know, but I'm kind of, even Mayor Bronin came out and said it was a clean shooter. It looks like that. But also then said, well, I feel really bad for the victim. I don't know who the victim is. I think the victimizing of this officer and her mental status having been forced into this position. Now, I'm sure this guy maybe had mental health issues too, and I feel bad for that. Why do we have to call out the victim's family? He's not a victim. He's a subject. He was a subject and a suspect, and he was treated fairly and professionally. And that's the accounts we have. So you know what? That's why people in this country who have any common sense back the blue, because we understand they're there for us. They're not there to beat us up. We did see some pathetic actions with the George Floyd issue. No one can debate that. I'm not here to say that was false. What I am telling you is simple, that we need law enforcement in our lives. And Donald Trump, he knows that, and he's definitely got the support of the men and women in blue in this country. Let's see, getting back to some of these things on this. Did you know Trump signed into law the Childhood Cancer Survivorship Treatment Access and Research Act? June 5th, Trump signed into law the most comprehensive child cancer research legislation, which advances childhood cancer research and improves treatments. Guys, if you can't even give him credit for that. One person out there tell me that that's a good law. Tell me what you think on that one, right? Because trying to help children he's a terrible human. Obviously, there's something corrupt. Maybe he owns the research lab. Maybe his name's Bill Gates or Fauci. Maybe they're all included together. Oh, no, that's the other side. Sorry, guys. Did you know Trump signed the bill protecting disability payments for veterans declaring bankruptcy? On August 23rd, 2019, Trump signed the Haven Act, preventing debt collectors from seizing veterans' disability compensation if they declare bankruptcy. Our veterans, they come back each and every after a deployment to this country, the things they see in this country, going back even in modern time, guys. I'm not just talking about the Vietnam era, which was tragic and probably the worst of our generations, but there's things that are now our warriors, our men and women who serve, they're seeing, and they have mental health issues. They come back, they need help. They've been failed by the system for so many years. Now all of a sudden you get a president in office who's willing to step up, stand up, and help. And again, no credit from the crickets from the national corporate media. Guys, these are all real documented things. They're not fake. So you can sit there and twist any of this you want. You tell me, any of you up there, tell me, how is that a bad thing? How is it a bad thing? Okay, I didn't blame him, sir. Relax. I pointed out because I'll relax. I'm being told to relax now. I'll chill out, man. Hey, you know what? I'll relax on my dime. My show, on your show, you can relax. On my show, I'll do what I want to do. How's that sound? I love you anyways, though. Did you know Trump appointed a Vietnamese refugee to lead ICE? Let's see. August 2020, Trump selected Tony Pham, a Vietnamese refugee whose family fled Saigon in 1975. And he's just an evil guy. And obviously, all his crude talk and it's racist because he called it the China flu. I don't know why it's racist to call it the China flu. It came from China. It's a Chinese flu, and it's here. It's called the China flu. If you don't like it, too bad. I don't care. You call it the COVID flu, whatever. It's not derogatory towards any Chinese people. It's from China. The location, the dirt and earth over there. Jesus Christ. Trump signed the USMCA agreement, paving the way for a job market boom. On January 20, let's see on this one here. I think January 29th, he signed this trade agreement, paving the way for all kinds of money to be funneled into job creation. We hear a lot about Donald Trump and wanting to kill businesses. And one of the things I find most interesting about this, this whole conversation we have about how, this whole one side, the Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the rest of the team down there, how they just hate this guy. They don't give this guy 1 ounce of credit for any of this. I don't know what to say. And, the hits keep going on and on. But I want to be fair about this, right? Because I want to go right into now a little bit about maybe some of the things are being claimed that Donald Trump has been bad at. So why don't we do this? So all you characters out there, I got you all spun up because you heard so much nice stuff about Donald Trump. And you know what? It's all fact. And you got to, if you don't believe it, you prove it otherwise, because I think it's fact. So there you go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to that Vox, if we can, and pull that one up. Donald Trump's long history of racism from the 70s to 2020. And this is an interesting article. It's a little older, guys. And I know some of you guys out there are going to go, what the hell are you reading that for? Because you know what? Quite honestly, if we're going to have it, we're going to have it in the Spanish flu. Yep, that's true. Thank you. Good point there, Deb. Let's see. We're going to talk a little bit about this racism claim and see what you think of this issue. So, what was it? 2000. Let's see. In 2016, he was making a joke. A trail of tears. Trump hasn't stopped with racist acts after this 2016 election. Most recently, Trump has called the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus the Chinese flu, the Kung flu. These are all racist terms. This is being said about Donald Trump. That those comments are all racist terms, and it's kind of funny. Kelly Conway previously called Kung flu a highly offensive term, and Trump insinuated that Senator Kamala Harris, who's black, doesn't meet the requirements to run for vice president. A repeat of birth conspiracy theory that is perpetuated by, I guess, President Barack Obama. This is nothing new for Trump. In fact, very first time Trump appeared in pages of the New York Times back in the 70s. This is a good one, guys. This is how deep. This is how deep that they will go.
I'm Scott Tierman,
to try
owner
to
of Armor
go
Shield
over
Roofing.
this.
Before you repair or replace your roof, we suggest you get 3
we're getting all kind of call-ins today, so we're just working on that. So this is really back to the 70s, and what it's claiming here that Donald Trump, then a real estate mogul, as you know, was being charged. Let's see, New York Times back in the 70s, U.S. Department of Justice sued him for racial discrimination. Now, this is a fact. This is a lawsuit. There's an actual lawsuit you can refer to back in the 70s, and the racial discrimination charge was basically about not allowing black families to buy into the condominium properties that he owned and developed. Trump has a long history of racist controversies. He's a here's another breakdown of Trump's list of things. So in 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice under Nixon's administration sued Donald Trump Management Corporation for violating the Fair Housing Act. Federal officials found evidence that Trump had refused to rent to black tenants and lied to the black applicants about their apartment access. In 1980, Kip Brown, a former employee of the Trump Castle, accused another one of Trump's businessmen of discrimination when Donald and Ivana, that was I don't know what wife that was, but one of the wives would come in. They didn't want any black people on the floor of the casino. This is the claim then. And again, if you listen to the opening of the article, it's interesting because it's really saying that a business associate was found guilty, but I guess that was Donald Trump's rules. They're saying he's a racist because he wanted no black people. Listen, I'm not saying that he didn't do it, and I'm not saying he did do it, okay? I don't feel like that sounds like anything any reasonable human would do, so it's hard for me to understand these claims. But we're going to keep on talking about them because News Rocky's fair. So don't get all shook up, you little Democratic liberal friends of mine. Don't get your panties in a uproar over here. Chill it out a little bit. I'm being fair and open, right? And this is what we're going to try to do on News Rocky. You know what? We talk about fake news, but I am really comparing fake news, guys. What I just read off about all the accomplishments, now that I'm reading this off, you're out there going, yeah, right? Yeah, told you so. Let's see. In 1989, the controversial case that has been characterized as a modern-day lynching. 4 black teenagers and 1 Latino teenager in the Central Park 5 were accused of attacking and raping a jogger in New York City. Trump immediately took charge in the case, running and I honestly don't know what this means by taking charge, but I guess in the end of the day, he was running an ad on local papers demanding bring back the death penalty, bring back our police. The teens' convictions were later vacated after they spent 13 years in prison, and the city paid $41 million in a settlement to the teens. But Trump in 2016 said he still believes they're guilty despite DNA. Now, I got to tell you, he did do that. He did say it. I don't necessarily know why there's a racial issue there. They happen to be 4 black individuals and Hispanic. Unfortunately, they were charged, and as it has been obviously noted, overturned. But this is a claim right here that this is another racial issue for Donald Trump. 1991, a book by John O'Donnell, former president of the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, quoted Trump's criticism of black accountants. Black guys are counting my money. I hate it. That's what was said. This is another claim. In 1992, the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino had to pay $200,000 in fines because it transferred a black woman dealer off tables to accommodate a big-time gambler's prejudice. This is a claim that was said, and there was a payout of $200,000 fine. In 1993, a congressional testimony, Trump said that some Native American reservations operating casinos shouldn't be allowed because they don't look like Indians. And guys, let's circle back. That's right here in Connecticut. If you didn't know, he was talking about the Mashantucket Casino, that he was obviously talking about a competitor, and he 100% said that, and that's a fact. And I do remember people talking back then about highly being offended by Donald Trump's comments. In 2004, in season 2 of The Apprentice, Trump fired Kevin Allen, a black contestant, for being overeducated. You're an unbelievably talented guy in terms of education, and you haven't done anything. Trump said on the show, at some point, you have to say enough is enough. So let's focus, guys. And I don't know much about this story. All I know is I'm reading it. I just want to know, where is that racist? Because an overeducated man was told that you don't have enough real work experience, but you're educated. Where is that racist? Why is that racist? But yet, in this article, these really sophisticated, educated folks out there that love to criticize, they love to patronize, they love to antagonize, they love to give me some more words. I'm learning out. I want to rhyme, but I can't do it anymore. They love to stir the pot each and every day. They like to call this guy, and I'm not calling this guy. Listen, I just read off some stuff that I would be embarrassed to be associated with. But you know what I do know? I do know this. At the end of the day, this claim in itself is just an example of the fake news media and what they're projecting on us each and every day. Let's see. In 2005, publicly pitched what was essential, The Apprentice, white people versus black people. He said he wasn't particularly happy with the most recent season of the show, so he was considering an idea that fairly controversial, creating a team, let's see here, of successful African Americans versus a team of successful whites. Whether people like that idea or not, it is somewhat reflective of our very vicious world. That was his words then. He pitched this to the NBC studio. Guys, I'm not sitting here and saying that it's a smart move. I don't necessarily know if it's a racist move, and I'm not playing with you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say on that one, but he pitched it. He owns it, and maybe it would have been interesting, right? 2010, there was a huge national controversy over the Ground Zero Mosque, a proposal to build a Muslim community center in Lower Manhattan near the site of the 9/11 attacks. Trump opposed the project, calling it insensitive, and offered to buy out one of the investors in the project. On the Late Show with David Letterman, Trump argued, referring to the Muslims, well, somebody's blowing us up. Somebody's blowing up buildings, and somebody's doing lots of bad stuff. He's definitely a man of simple words. We'll give him credit there. But you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, I 100% agree with that was a bad choice. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not offended by Muslims. I actually worked with many Muslims throughout my career. I got to like many folks who worship Allah. I have no philosophical issues with the worshiping, the creating this whole controversy with Donald Trump and saying that it was maybe possibly racist. I'm not really sure where that is. Is it racist against, are Muslims only black, or are they actually people of other colors, right? I think we've gotten past that point. Maybe you all can watch Malcolm X and figure that one out, because even he got realized that the world is filled with different people other than black and white. I know in America, we're fixated on it because it seems all the noise we get from corporate media, but the country that we live in is actually made up of many different people. So I don't know where that is really racism. Well, racism against, religion, maybe you're saying. Well, if you look at the world right now we live in, you tell me, other than China and the China flu, right now, who is the number one enemy? If I ask you right now on the world theater, who is the number one enemy? If you honestly have any honesty, you're going to say someone of Muslim descent, someone from the Middle East. And by the way, guys, my mother's half Syrian, so I don't give a shit. You can blow up all that desert over there. I could give a shit less. It doesn't matter. Those people don't matter to me. What matters to me, like it should to you, is America. America should be first. So what this guy was saying back here in this whole controversial statement about this Muslim mosque was no. 9/11 was the biggest tragedy that hit our country up until, quite frankly, in a lot of ways, we always have our Pearl Harbor dates that we tragically remember. We remember 9/11, and now we're remembering the COVID virus that's obviously affected, many of our country's citizens. This is just another example, guys, of just a bunch of, I don't know what to say, guys. This is the kind of stuff you deal with, and I'm not here to defend the president. I'm just reading to you what is being claimed to be racist, and I don't see racist there. In 2011, Trump played a big role in pushing false rumors that Obama, the country's first black president, was not born in the U.S. He claimed to send investigators to Hawaii to look into Obama's birth certificate. Obama later released his birth certificate, calling Trump's calling him a carnival barker. The research has found a strong correlation between the conspiracy theory is called, and it's called racism, but Trump has reportedly continued pushing this conspiracy theory in private. So they're even saying that, the fact that he was going. Now, let me ask you guys. So if we're going to talk about race, and race is an important issue, and I have no issues with talking racial issues at all. You guys that know me know that this is an open market here. We'll talk about it all. But is it really racist to question a birth certificate of a president? You see, there are certain constitutional laws that are required. You need to be born in America in order to do that. Now, I always said it was petty to me. I never thought it was the right thing. But where is it racism? Because he was a black president? Is that racist? Where do we draw the line at this point? This is the question, guys. It's a real question, because honestly, I want to get to the bottom of this as well. But I don't see the correlation of racism. Again, the fake news narrative comes to us each and every day from the national corporate media. It tells us we have to feel one way about somebody. Listen, I'm going to ask you guys, when you go to bed tonight and you wake up tomorrow, take this on if you can. Wake up tomorrow and just clear your head. Forget about who the president of the United States is. Forget about everything that's going on. Try to forget about COVID. Just clear your head. Just understand one thing. When you put your feet on the ground and you get your feet moving and you're going for the day and you're going out into the real world, there's two choices you make, either the right choice or the wrong choice. There's good and bad and evil, right? And there's bad each and every day, and there's good each and every day. And we are so looking for evil in people on both sides. I look to argue with a Democrat because I feel a certain way, and I feel like I have to argue and defend. I got to wake up tomorrow morning and get up and not identify myself as Kevin, News Rocky, father of 2 children, family community guy, news show, businesses, whatever. No, you know what? I got to be a white guy. I got to be up and be a white guy, because you know what? I'm being told by media each and every day that I'm the problem. You see, this is what we're talking about. This is what I'm saying, man. You got to listen, because this is the kind of accusations has divided our country. Nancy Pelosi, and these savages, they're savages, man. Nancy Pelosi, Dick Blumenthal, they're savages. They understand how to take control. They look like they're the Walking Dead anyways. I mean, I don't know if we can get a picture of those 2 old caskets, but they look like they're about ready to go down. These people, Dickie, I call him Twiggy. And by the way, big announcement coming, guys. Big, huge announcement. We are working right now on this whole new concept. It's going to be coming out in 2021. The News Rocky Show is going to be having its own cartoon parody. And we're actually working the details out now. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be Baby Arms and Twiggy Go to Washington, D.C. And it's based on our 2 favorite senators right here from Connecticut. And guys, if you don't remember the pictures we had up last week, Baby Arms Murphy was getting the shot. And you know what? I mean, I'm not a huge guy, but Baby Arms was getting his shot right here. It looked like he had, honestly, I'd give a 5-year-old structure to that arm. It was about a 5-year-old arm right there. And he's not an old guy. He's a young guy. Obviously, he concentrates more on putting suits and getting his wet lips going all the time. But then you had Dickie over there, and Dickie had his little baby arm out. That thing had a couple veins on it, some really nice bone structure. but it looked like an arm that was on a probably about a 99-year-old human who has never lifted anything over 25 pounds in their life. It was pathetic, pathetic. But you know what? Liberal media, conservative, whatever, folks that want to turn their back, everyone wants to criticize Trump. Those are the good people. Those professional politicians, they're the good ones. They're the ones that are going to take care of us because they were fighting for the coronavirus relief bill, right? They were in Congress and Senate. They pulled this bill back in October because they didn't want to give the president credit. But you guys fell for it because you know why? Because we're all a bunch of sheep. We're all a bunch of suckers, and each and every day we get fed a bunch of new stuff. So let's see. What else did Trump do? He's done a lot of stuff. You know what? I'm just going to tell you this. I'm not even going to get into it anymore. Trump's done a lot of stuff that's stupid. Trump's done a lot of stuff that's amazing. I think the country itself has been put into a position that we're in right now where we are definitely regretting the divide we have between America. We have a divided sort of political system. And quite honestly, I think that could be the positive out of this. So as I go into 2021, one of my greatest goals is to make sure that we keep bringing you the best possible news we can, or at least the response to the news of the day. We're going to break down on this fake news concept. We're going to break down on the media's corrupt control. And I will tell you, it's kind of interesting. Whatever you want to read, you can go to a certain site. You're going to read about whatever it is that particular liberal and or conservative media outlet wants to push their agenda. It's time for us, the American people, to step up. Stand up and step up. Have you ever heard that before? Oh, now I'm the racist too? That's great. You can call me a racist if you want. You know why? Because if you really know me, you know I'm not. I'm trying to be a realist. I love this country. I love the greatest country on earth is America. And I don't think in my lifetime I could have ever envisioned the things we're going through. And the thing that probably irritates me the most is people on one side of this aisle. And I'm talking to Democrats, and I love you, and I don't want to fight. I want us to resolve this. You constantly want to blame. It's as if, tell me this, okay? Do we have to just basically walk Donald Trump up to the top of the volcano and push him in so you guys can be happy? If we sacrifice Donald Trump, will it make you happy? Will you settle down? Will Twiggy and Baby Arms have all of a sudden a better attitude about the world? Who are they going to argue with then? Who is the media going to go after then? Oh, guys, wake up. Because you suckers on the Democratic side that thinks 1 minute, if you think that they're not going to turn on Joe Biden and Joe Biden's son as soon as he gets in office, you are sadly, they need a new bad guy. They need an agitator. They need attention. Oh, Trump's not going to go away, guys. But you know what? Trump's not going to Trump's out of office. He's going to be campaigning for 4 years. But who's going to be in office? And how are they going to blame this? They're going to blame it on Trump still. They're going to say, oh, he's in the way. I hear Nancy Pelosi with the way she talks like she's all drunk. And she's like, Donald Trump. You don't even know what she's saying. It looks like her gums are freaking coming out with her fake teeth. Anyways, listen, guys, I rambled for literally an hour. I went off. I don't even know what happened. I feel like sometimes they tell me I'm like the guy Tank from Old School. If you remember, he's in the debate and he's debating the economics thing. And all of a sudden he kind of goes off and he just wakes back up again. Here's what I want to tell you. News Rocky, Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 p.m., live every day. We come right from this Pie Hop studio at 80 Broadway in downtown Norwich, the Helms Media Group. We're in partnership with so many other great organizations here. We have huge announcements in 21 coming your way. We're going to be doing big things right here in Norwich in the state of Connecticut. Actually, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not saying this, and I even tell Peter Helms and everybody else. I talked to a football celebrity. But yeah, I said it. I know, Paul, you're going to kick me in the butt, but I'm telling you, I talked to somebody who's a celebrity that can draw millions of people, and I'm actually talking to this individual right now. I can't wait to announce this one. This is going to be huge on News Rocky. And each and every day, I want you guys to tune in here. We're going to have this conversation, and we have some great shows planned this week. So I'll see you back here tomorrow at 4 p.m., and I'm thinking Gordon Vidal, we're going to go right into the deep state, Pizzagate. We're going to knock some stuff out on that end. I want you guys to have a great night. Keep warm. It's really cold here in New England, so put a log on that fire. News Rocky each and every day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless.